Hello everyone, it's SpawnPoiint and welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to show you my dual monitor setup, which offers me some serious flexibility. But are two screens really better than one, and what are the pros and cons of this setup over a single screen? So I'm going to show you the displays that I'm using along with this awesome Ergo bracket. But I'll also show you the other items in my setup, including the desk and the chair that I've had a lot of questions about. As always, everything is linked in the description if you want to check that out. Okay, so these screens are called the 27QP88D. They consist of two 27-inch IPS panels, which have HDR, USB-C and daisy chain functionality. Now the screens themselves are Quad HD. That means they have a resolution of 2560 by 1440. Now as a single screen that might not sound like a lot, especially coming from using a 4K monitor. But considering they are side by side here, that's the equivalent of a 5120 by 1440 display. That's huge. But these are perfect for working on, being able to see more content, snapping windows to different screens, and generally just being more productive. And having used an ultra-wide for the last 3 months or so, having more screen real estate has been really useful for me. Now I can either use both screen independently, say plugged into a laptop, PC or console, or I can use them daisy chained on one system. And that's where you have one cable running from your laptop to one screen and another cable between the two screens. I'll show you how I'm running my setup in the next couple of minutes. As far as color accuracy and image quality goes, they are pretty good. I use them for editing videos and photos and everything looks clear and vibrant. They aren't as good as my MacBook screen, but that thing is stupidly sharp, but these are fine for what I need to use them for. They also support HDR10, although at only 350 nits they are not going to be blindingly bright. Now whether I've used it for video or photo editing or for the sake of testing, watching a movie or two, the picture quality is what you would expect from an IPS panel. It's bright, vibrant and the colours look incredible. Now what really sets this screen apart from anything else that I've used is the dual monitor capability. Snapping windows and using multiple programs or apps is one thing, but being able to manage each screen independently, showing different apps, different backgrounds and different tasks feels so much more productive. Now I edit all of the videos for this channel on my MacBook Pro, so being able to set the screens up in a way that could help me is awesome. When I'm working I've often got at least 2 or 3 apps open at the same time. That could be my emails, a script, Notion or the software that I'm currently using. And trying to fit all of these onto one screen is not easy, but here it just works. Or when I'm working on a new video, I can have one screen as my editing setup and the other as my preview window. I don't have to have them all on the same screen. Now this is where it gets really interesting. You don't have to use the screens in this fixed side-by-side layout. I mean, it's probably the layout that I'll use the most, but just check this out. I can also arrange the screens into a center portrait, pivot, or a stacked mode. So whether I was working on my own or in an office and collabing with others, I have the flexibility now to move the screens into any position needed. But this is all thanks to the bracket that I'm using, which is called the Ergo Stand. Now the flexibility and the free movement which is possible with this arm is just awesome. If I wanted to, I could have one screen in a landscape mode while rotating the other into a portrait mode. This is ideal for writing code, testing mobile app layouts, or even streaming. I mean, if you were a streamer, you could have your chat window open in portrait mode while gaming in landscape. I've talked about the Ergo Stand before in previous videos, as these stands or brackets are one of the best on the market right now. And the fact that they come included with the screen is just incredible. LG really should sell these separately for everybody else to use. So the Ergo Stand allows a 335 degree swivel, a -30 to 35 degree tilt, the height can be adjusted to 150mm, and it can be extended from 0 to 210mm. It is pretty heavy and bulky, but it also feels really safe and sturdy. And if I rotate both screens into portrait mode, it creates an almost square setup. Again, this depends on the work that you're doing and why you need to use a display. But it's great to be able to rotate the screen so effortlessly into any mode that you need. Then finally, there's the stacked option. Here I can actually move the screens back into landscape mode, but this time they are on top of each other instead. Now this is a mode that I like a lot. It means I could have one app running on the bottom, say Final Cut Pro, and another app or my preview window opened on the top. I can even tilt the screen slightly so it's facing down. When using this layout though, you do need to semi-dismantle the bracket though, as the arm itself does need to be rotated. I just wanted to mention quickly though that the C clamp itself that attaches to the desk, I really like this new design. The old one was massive, it used to have this really large metal plate, whereas now it's so much smaller and compact. This definitely makes it so much easier to install and it takes up less room on the desk. So as I'm using my MacBook Pro with these screens, it means I only need to use the USB-C ports. There's also one on each monitor. But what's great about using USB-C is it not only provides the image to the screen, it actually provides power back to the Mac. It now means my Mac does not need a separate power cable while using it. Essentially, it's a one cable setup. There's also a DisplayPort in and out, and that allows for the daisy chain setup. Then we've got HDMI and USB 3.0. Now, although the DisplayPorts do allow a daisy chain setup, where one cable goes from your laptop to the screen, and another cable goes between the two screens, unfortunately macOS does not support MST over DisplayPort. This means it's almost the perfect single cable setup, but not quite. I actually have to plug one USB-C cable into monitor 1 and another USB-C cable into monitor 2. Now this works for me, and seeing that extra cable isn't really an issue, but be aware that only the new M1 Pro and Pro Max models support two external screens. If you're using the earlier M1 models, you cannot link it in this way, but then if you're using a Windows machine, you'll be fine with a one cable setup. As you've probably noticed, I try and keep all of the cables out of sight where possible. I usually clip or stick them to the desk or the monitor. Fortunately, the cable management on the Ergo Stand is really good. Inside the pole is a hidden trunk where I fed all the cables through. Then there's a plastic cover that clips on the back and a grommet for the top. This is such a great design and something that all monitor stands should come with. As for other cable management, I've got all of my cables stuck to the underside of my desk using these little plastic clips. I did show this during my gaming setup tour last year, and it definitely beats the IKEA tray that I have under my other desk setup. As for the power packs, I've stuck them to the underside of the desk using 3M tape. Ideally, I should be using something like Velcro, but for now this works and it's very easy to install. Also, swapping cables out is now really convenient and it looks pretty clean. Just like with the other Ergo monitors, these are the easiest stands that you will ever set up. Plus it comes with all of the tools that you'll need. The clamp attaches to the desk and it tightens up using the inbuilt screw. Then all you need to do is attach the horizontal arm onto the bracket itself, which will hold the two monitors. Next we need to attach the screens with a simple click, and that's it. When you need to remove the screens, it is just as easy. There's a little button at the bottom of the screen, you need to push that in and it unclicks them. The desk I'm using is from FlexiSpot. It's the Pro Series standing desk which measures 140 by 70 centimeters. For the space I have, it's fine, but I think if I'm using a dual monitor setup, it probably needs to be wider. It would look even better if the desk was about 100 centimeters wide to give space for the speakers or my headset stand. I'm still using the MX keys and the MX Master 3 mouse. I think I've had these for about 2 years now and they've not let me down yet. And they are sitting on this medium-sized felt mat from Grovemade. This is really soft to the touch, it never snags as well. And if you are interested in the one I've got here, I've actually got a link down below with a 10% off code. And I'm still using the Herman Miller Embody chair. And this is actually classed as a gaming chair as it's in collaboration with the Logitech. Now this is by far the best chair that I've ever had. It's comfy, supportive, and it looks awesome. The design on the back stands out against anything else that I've seen, and I'm really pleased that I chose this one in the end. It was either this or the Cosm, if that's how it's pronounced, but I think this could be the best chair that Herman Miller make. So I've covered a lot of the pros and advantages of this dual monitor setup, but there are a few issues as well, nothing major. As each screen can be moved independently on the bracket, it can sometimes be a real pain trying to line them up and make them look level. It'd be awesome if either on the back of the monitor or on the arm itself there was a tiny little spirit level so you always knew if it was straight. It would have been great if there was a single power cable or single button to power them both on and off. Maybe something could be built into the stand where only a single power pack is needed. And there's also no speakers on this model, which did actually surprise me as most of the LG monitors that are out there do come with speakers built in. And if you were wondering what comes inside the box with these monitors, well, it comes with two screens, obviously, the Ergo Stand, all of the tools, manuals, and enough cables for almost every setup that you need. That's 2 HDMI cables, 2 power packs, 2 display ports, and just 1 USB-C cable. Then you've got your manuals, which you will definitely need to use when setting it up for the first time, and a CD that you probably will never use. So that was a look at the new dual monitors I'm using at the moment, complete with the ridiculously flexible Ergo Stand. The fact that I can adjust the screens into practically any position or layout is just awesome. I still think the traditional side-by-side is the best mode for me, but the option to move it around is great. Well, I hope you liked the setup today, and thank you for watching until the end. If you drop a clean setup in the comments, I will give you a thumbs up for staying until the end. And here's another couple of videos you might be interested in watching next. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on so you don't miss my next upload. You can also follow me over on Instagram and Twitter. Until next time.